Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be an analysis of some of the most popular futures markets out there for traders. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. One quick clarification point, I'll be using the 1 hour time frame, and what that means if you're a beginner is that each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 1 hour's worth of time. So market number one, we're going to look at the NQ, and as a reminder, you can totally use this for the MNQ. So I'm not going to look at any of the micros, I'm just going to look at the minis, but again, you can apply all these same trend lines and such to those markets too. So for those of you that did watch yesterday's video, hopefully remember me talking about and putting that trend line into place, and that held very nicely, and in fact, you got a very nice bounce off it right there. But moving forward now, that's just going to kind of be more of an FYI to keep an eye on. The price isn't anywhere close to it right now. But if there is any sort of pullback, then yeah, it becomes a very interesting level that potentially a trade plan could be built around. Does it bounce? Does it get, more continuation on the downside? Nobody knows that. And that's why risk management matters. But in my opinion, that would be technical levels where a lot of other people could be building trade plans. And when you have that happen, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can, produce some very dynamic movement. So overall, though, that'll be an area of support in the very near term as far as supports are concerned. And just as a sign of, what would make this chart look the strongest moving forward, that would definitely be if the price can continue to hold above that pink line there, the 200 period moving average. You can see already got one bounce off it there and another bounce off it right there. Now, if the price falls below there, does that mean the bulls have lost total control? Absolutely not. Now, if the price comes down here and blasts down through that trend line, then that's where you can start to make the argument that maybe the bulls are losing their grip on things. But as of right now, that would just be a preferable area. But good to see that level was broken here, which now really opens up the potential for this thing to get rock and rolled again, to potentially make another move back up and do battle with this 955 mark up there. I'm not saying it's headed straight up there or anything like that in the next session, but my point here is with clearing through the pink line there, that does open up quite a bit of space where the price could find some more momentum to take it up to that area. But all in all, nice session, and we'll see if the bulls can continue to push forward moving into the next session. Next one here, the ES, and what's interesting about here, and maybe you kind of notice the first thing is, keep in mind that pink line there. We just got done talking about the NQ having already pushed through here. So now it's a question of, is the NQ actually one step ahead of the ES? Usually it's kind of the ES that drags things along, but sometimes they become detached. So in my mind, that's a big question is, NQ is already up through this area. Is that a leading indicator that there is about to be a break moving forward here on the ES? Again, no certainties, but in my mind at least, I think that's a valid scenario to throw out there and a reasonable thought process to have behind it. But nonetheless, just from a technical standpoint, that pink line there is certainly going to be that key area of resistance. And then after that, just the same as NQ, if the price can push up through there, doesn't imply that the price is shooting straight up to the 145 mark, but there is quite a bit of space on the chart. But also for this one, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. First, the ES has just got to be able to break up through that pink line there. In terms of areas of support, so far so good. The price is doing a good job maintaining these areas. Now, I don't want this to get too cluttered up, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that level, and I'm going to extend this area of support out there as the key area of main support trend line. Preferably speaking, if the price could stay above the purple line, that would be great. But just from the overall kind of health perspective, how's the health of this bounce doing? Well, the health is doing just fine, assuming the price stays above that line. Because in order to stay above that line, that would require the price to have to build those higher lows, which is what it's all about. But yeah, I think the most interesting dynamic here is, can the price break through that pink line there, 200 period moving average? We'll see what happens. Next one here, YM, and overall, this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the previous videos, but if you did, hopefully remember me talking about that green line right there as support. Now, it wasn't exact, but broadly speaking, the price got down here several times and did a good job of holding strong, so good to see that continued to hold. I'm going to go ahead and adjust this area down a little bit now that we have a bit more data in terms of where the key area of support seems to be, and that's more so at the 355 mark. But once again, the most interesting dynamic here is right here. The pink line, 200 period moving average, it's currently right underneath it. So moving into the next session, will it be able to break? Now this one's a little bit goofier because the other ones, if it broke, it was kind of almost a clear sailing up to the next key level, which on this would be 153. But here we have, I don't know, is this going to be a roadblock? Maybe. And I think it's at least worth noting. I'll throw out there just to separate a little bit. So I guess my point here is that even if it does break above the 200 period moving average, don't get me wrong, that is a good thing. That is a bullish thing. I would just be a little bit more skeptical of it because the price would still have to deal with that level right there at about the 832 mark. But all in all, interesting scenario, knocking on the door. Can it get the break? grab your popcorn and we'll see what happens. We're now moving away from the indices and we're going to hop into the oil market, specifically crude, and take a look at CL here. And this is one I've been tracking, not necessarily this one. I always like to do crude, but more specifically that level right there of 72. And you can see that price broke through it, hovered, and then just really got nasty. With all that being said, check out that 1 hour candle. A crazy move. A huge breakdown, and then in one candle, not only did it recover back up to the breakdown point, it just kept on moving and moving. Now, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in regards to areas of resistance. It's right now hung up with the purple line there, which you know is the 50-period moving average, not that far away. Then it's got the 200-period moving average, and then you still have this overarching area. So again, still a lot of work needs to be done, and from a trade plan perspective, I could see all those areas serving as kind of a key area that you could build something around. But yeah, I mean, to think of where it was before bouncing back up, very impressive. And in fact, basically have a miniature little bull pennant pattern here that it's formed. So does it chop around a little bit more and get a break to the upside and then do battle with these areas? We'll have to see what happens. But to be fair, the overall trend is still very much so in the downwards direction. So this bull pennant here that I drew, breaking to the downside, I don't think that would catch anybody off guard at all. Any sort of movement back, though, you ideally do want to see the price stay above 72, because if the price were to come down here and break down below it, well, now all of a sudden you have the price essentially going back to where it was. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine strength. So 72, a very important area of support for that reason. But yes, crazy session, crazy recovery, after that breakdown. So we'll see if there can be another surge back upwards. And now moving into precious metals and talking about gold, GC, this one continues to just be very impressive and strong. So going into today, that 2860 was an area of resistance, but now the price is above it. So basic technical analysis, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. And that's exactly what happened here. You can see price did break above it and then went right back to acting as a support right there before pushing the price back upwards. And right now, yes, technically speaking, the price is above 2872, which is that next level of resistance that I'd mapped out. But it's just kind of stuck in this general range. So I'm going to leave that line red, considered an area of resistance. Now, if you're saying, well, no, Clay, the price is above it, that should be considered an area of support. Fine, that's fine. But hopefully we can agree that it's, it hasn't made any sort of massive separation. It's still well within the range. But that does lead to the next question moving forward. Is this just a little temporary pause? So miniature bull flag there. Is this a temporary pause before gold gets another round of upside pressure? Moving forward, we'll have to see what happens with it. But yeah, all in all, gold still basically sitting at all-time highs. Doesn't seem like anything can really push it down without it quickly being bought back up. But overall, yeah, impressive chart. And we'll see if this does indeed get more upside momentum on Wednesday. So that wraps up the analysis. And as you saw at the top of the screen the whole time, if you are already in the futures market and you're wondering which prop firm I recommend, or maybe you're thinking maybe I should try prop firms, then definitely check out Take Profit Trader and make sure you use the link that you saw, because that will give you the best deal possible. They're always running promotions, and that will make sure that you get the best deal available. Right now is 50% off. And also, if you're not aware, they are open to people well more so than just the United States. So as long as your country is not on that list, that is a good thing. I'll say that again. If your country is on that list, unfortunately, they would not be for you. But if not, then I would definitely consider using them. Like I said, that's who I use, who I would recommend. So thanks for watching. As always, if you appreciate these videos and you're looking to support the channel in a super free, easy way, one way would be to use that link, because that is an affiliate link, or just hit the subscribe button on this video, because that really does help out. So thanks for watching. Take care.